Hello, my dear friends. This is Moot, and I'm here to tell you today about. Okay, so behind me is a pile of synthesizers, and that's what I do with a lot of my time is work with synthesizers. The thing is that we are synthesizers. One of the things that we do with this limited experience of consciousness that we have here in the third dimension is as things unfold for us, as we gain new knowledge, new information, we synthesize it. What happens is I learned a little piece over here and a little piece over there, and then I sort of contemplate those things and see how they mesh together into a synthesis of the two ideas that came from disparate sources. And so lately I've been getting some new revelations about manifestation and law of attraction, and just kind of some clarity on how exactly that works. So these are kind of just a few random ideas of, I just felt compelled to sort of share. Some of this is from directly channeled info. Some of this is just from intuitive info that I've gotten through meditation. And then some of it's from other teachers that have sparked new ideas that have led to those light bulb moments, those enlightening moments where it's like, aha, I see how this fits together. So a lot of us don't get what we want simply because we haven't understood how the whole process works. Let me be clear. Law of attraction is not something that you can really manipulate or use for ego-based gain. Now, you can certainly manifest things into your experience that please your ego, but you actually cannot manifest anything from your ego. It all comes from the soul. It all comes from the spirit. It all comes from the divine part of you. That is where manifestation begins. It doesn't begin here in the third dimension. As above, so below. As within, so without. So whatever that you experience on the outside, I've said this many times before, whatever you experience on the outside, your outside world, your reality, your 3D experience, that is nothing but a projection of what is the sum total of the frequencies that you are emitting. You create your reality with your thoughts and beliefs every single day, every single second that passes by in this time layer. So if you've ever worked with video editing before, you know that you have a timeline where all of your different video clips go, right? You've got, say you've got 3 cameras and you're going to edit, the 3 camera angles for your video. So you've got your timeline and you've got 3 different camera angles there, all in parallel together. And you will use your editing tools in your program to select between those 3 cameras in the timeline in a linear fashion, so that whenever the thing is played back, the viewer will see whichever one you have selected for that particular slice of time. So that is a very good analogy for how quantum jumping works, which is just a different, really it's just a different way of looking at law of attraction. Basically, the idea is that all points in time exist simultaneously. And we are moving through time in a linear fashion on a timeline. But there are an infinite number of parallel timelines, like those different camera angles. So that you, when you make a choice, you are the editor of your movie. You are the one in charge of which camera angle gets shown. So if, or which scene, it may be a completely different scene. It's like every possible movie that could possibly happen in your life. Every possible outcome of every thought and every action, every word, every deed They all are laid out in parallel, like all these different film strips. And with your thoughts and your beliefs and your intentions, you choose one of those, and that is the one that you experience for however long you resonate with it. So through your vibration, through your resonance, through what your soul desires, when you get in touch with that and you begin to resonate with it, you have chosen. Okay, so all right, so I've got a lot of debt right now, and I have chosen to be free of that debt. Now, I don't get to dictate to the universe how that gets rectified, how that gets resolved. Just inadvertently, without just being careless, I got myself into some big credit card debt, and just, being foolish. So I recognize, and I've taken responsibility that I wasn't, careful with my money in the past. So one of the things that I've learned is you must see things for what they are before you can change them. What do I mean by that? You must see things for what they are before you can change them. Well, imagine every person that's in the psych ward that is, suffering from delusional tendencies, delusions of grandeur, whatever, schizoid sort of disorder they may have that is causing them to have these delusional thoughts. Do they manifest into reality? No, they don't. You might think you're the Queen of England. Do you become the Queen of England? It's not that it's so highly improbable. It's just that, like, whatever these delusional people, they're not actually, maybe in their own mind, in their own layer of reality, they are manifesting it. But it isn't manifesting for the whole, for the collective. So that goes to show you that a delusional mind, a mind that doesn't see that doesn't see its own reality for what it truly is, without any filters, without any overlays, simply just seeing things for what they truly are. For you, your truth may be different than mine, because everyone is in their own layer of this reality, of this simulation. Everyone has their own, and you create it by your beliefs, and believing is seeing. I'm going to get to that. There's some very important information here. Once you have come to terms with the present reality that you are experiencing, look, one of the reasons why you cannot change a situation until you have fully seen it is because you're here in this third dimension, going through this time experience to learn and to grow and to ascend and to clear out karma and to do all these things that are your soul mission before you came in here was all mapped out, and you forgot as soon as you incarnated here. We are now in a process of remembering. Lots of us are remembering what we came here to do, because how can you do what you came to do if you don't even remember what it is? Your soul knows what it is. Get in touch with it and find out what it is. And get ready for your life to change whenever you find out what it is. Because once you find out what your soul mission is, and you begin to resonate on that frequency, and because you will feel so good when you find it. It's just like, oh yes, this is exactly. And once you find something that you desire so strongly at such a core part of you, like the actual essence of why you were here, once you find that thing, it will be like nothing can stop you, nothing can get in your way. You will be like a laser beam focused on that thing, and the more you resonate with the thing, the quicker it manifests. A lot of us don't get what we want because we don't understand that we must stay as best as we can in that frequency of the thing that we have chosen. So when you have chosen to change something in your experience, or something about yourself. You have a desire and you have chosen it. You've set your intention to make that thing a reality. And there are no limits. Whatever your dreams are, they can be achieved. The fact that you actually have that desire means that it is met with the potential of fruition. Let me say that again. The fact that you have a desire for something indicates that it is possible to achieve it. Doesn't mean that it is a guarantee that you'll have it, because there's a lot of choices to be made. But it is up to you. If you truly want it, and you truly will do what it takes to get it, and I'm not talking about effort here, I'm going to get to that in a second. I'm talking about understanding energy and resonating on the frequency of that thing. So when you do that, okay, so right now I've got a lot of debt, and I want to be out of debt. My guides have told me in no uncertain terms that I'm about to be. I don't know how that's going to be, okay? I don't know how that's going to come about, but somehow that's going to come about. So it's important every day to center yourself, to meditate and center yourself and become familiar with your own energy. Become familiar with you and what you're about, what you feel like, you have to establish a control, a baseline. Here is my default feeling, my default vibration. This is the way I feel. This is my energy. And you tune your discernment that you can differentiate between your energy and someone else's or some other entities. Because like if you're an empath like me, like you come in here not knowing where you end and others begin, and you absorb all this other energy and all this negative crap that is not yours. So part of the healing of an empath and the empowering of an empath and creating a person that can be used by the divine consciousness to heal this planet. Part of that process is learning how to discern and establish those energetic boundaries. So I shared before a video on what my daily practice is as far as protecting my energy from outside influences. But that's not even really what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that it's important to get to know you, get to know what you feel like, and get to know the difference between you and others. So that when something shifts, the idea is that you are tuning your discernment to such a sharp degree, such a sharp, fine point, that you can instantaneously measure the difference between some different energy that you experience. Maybe a person comes into the room, a new person, you go into an unfamiliar place, and you're reading all the people in there. You can know pretty well if someone is a vibrational mismatch with you. If it feels uncomfortable, don't stick around. You don't have to. I mean, don't be a jerk, but like you don't have to stick around and be subjected to negative energies. But you can find out exactly where you're at. Like, this is my vibrational set point, and I feel like this person that I just met is here, and that we're clashing. We're not in tune. We're not resonating. So it's like I measure the contrast. This is like, as a musician, like I don't have perfect pitch, but I have relative pitch. Like I have very good relative pitch hearing. So like, if like, somebody plays that note, and then I know that's a major third away from the first note, because my ears know what those intervals are. This is the same thing. This is learning the intervals, kind of. This is like learning the space between you and something else. Okay, here's what I'm trying to get to. That when you become more attuned in this way and you tune your discernment. I'm not talking about judgment. I'm not talking about using this in a way that you can judge others, because judgment comes from the ego. Judgment says, I have set myself up as the arbiter of what is right and wrong for you in this instance, and I'm going to judge that this is bad, this is good. Even saying something is good is a judgment. It is an ego construct, and those are the things that we have to start to dissolve. The ego cannot manifest anything. All manifestation comes from the soul. As above, so below, as I said. So, in the higher dimensions, all is one. Everything is connected up to the source consciousness, the divine source of all. So you exist simultaneously in every dimension, but you are currently limited in your consciousness mostly to this third dimension. Lots of us are, opening up to more, and we will more and more. But we came here to live essentially a 3D experience. Like, there's still going to be a 3D element to it. So we experience everything here in the third dimension as separate. Like, I'm sitting here, there's a piano behind me. It's a separate object from me. If I were to view this from like a 5D perspective, I would see that there is actually no difference. Like, we are made of the same stuff. We're made of light. We're made from the same material that created everything in the universe. Everything is one thing. So every energy is one energy. So when you choose something that you desire, like I chose to be out of debt, I have become, in the fifth dimension, I have become an energy match to a debt-free person. Like I have the energy, I have become debt-free. I've chosen it, and I resonated with it, and I put time into visualizing it, contemplating it. Because what you have to do, see, is you are building this reality in your mind. Everything's created with the mind. If you want to go over here, you have to imagine what over there looks like. So, over there in debt-free land, I just imagine myself, what would my life look like if I had no debts, none, no car payments, no nothing. My life would be much easier and simpler. And I just spend time when I meditate, or even just throughout my day, just thinking about it, rolling it over in my head, observing these thoughts about being debt-free, feeling the vibration of that. So when you have chosen it and you resonate on that frequency, you actually become a frequency matched to that thing. You become the thing. You are energetically identical. It becomes you, you become it. You are one with it. Whatever you have chosen, in the higher dimensions, you are already one with it. If you can hold that frequency, you will remain one with it. And because this universal law, as above, so below, what happens up there will slowly trickle down. So let's talk about the time buffer. So, when you look up in the night sky and there you see the stars, like, you realize that those stars are so far away that you're seeing them, millions or billions of years ago. Like, you're not seeing the way they look now. You're seeing them a long, long, long time ago, right? Depending on how far away they are. So it's kind of the same idea that here in the third dimension, there's a time gap. So like right here on this date, I chose to be debt-free. I don't know the date at which it will manifest. But the thing is, it's not like this arbitrary. There's always a convergence point where you converge with that energy in the third dimension. There's always that convergence point. But the actual convergence point happened back here when I chose it. I'm already resonating on that frequency. If I can hold that frequency through this timeline, eventually I will stay on that frequency and I will see it in the third dimension. But imagine like a pitcher of water, but clear water. and you put like a drop of dye in it, like red dye. It takes a while for that dye to dissipate through the entire pitcher of water and turn it all red. Okay, that is sort of an analogy that came to me today when I was trying to think of how to conceptualize how this works. So it's not like you chose this thing and nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens, and then on X date, boom, you get the the big prize. It's not like that. It filters in slowly, as above, so below. It trickles down from the source, and it gets filtered and filtered and filtered and filtered through each lower dimension until it finally reaches you. And it has to be molded and melded and shaped into something that can be translated into this 3D level of experience. So understand that where you are emanating from as a divine being, you already become one with the thing that you desire if you really truly resonate with it. Wishful thinking won't work. Belief won't work. Knowing is the only thing that will get you what you desire. You must know that you are it, that you have it. It's not wishful thinking. It is, how does one go from I believe this thing to I know this thing? How do you go from belief to knowing? That is an iterative process. If you look up fractals and iterations, like basically like fractal, these like the Mandelbrot set, it's like you have to keep iterating. You have to keep feeding the equation back in to the calculation. So it's kind of the same type of thing. Like the idea is that, okay, believing is seeing. You create your reality by your thoughts. Whatever you believe, whatever you know to be true, whatever it is that is your core frequencies, those are the things that you experience in the third dimension. So believing is seeing. I know that they always say seeing is believing, but it actually starts the opposite way. But what you do is you create a feedback loop. You keep feeding this, so it's like this. Believing is seeing, seeing is believing. Believing is seeing, seeing is believing. And somehow during that iterative process, belief turns into knowing. This is like stretching a muscle. This is like lifting weights spiritually. Belief is not a place to camp out. Belief is not a place that you should stay. Belief is a springboard. Belief is a catapult that launches you into the land of knowing. Belief is only a springboard into knowing in your heart. Knowing is ironclad. Knowing is unshakable. Knowing is how you keep this resonance with whatever it is that you desire long enough to actually experience it. Because, like the Bible says, you don't have what you ask for because you ask amiss, that you may spend it on your own desires. There's one scripture that says that. So that kind of, that, maybe a more 5D interpretation of that would be, well, that's kind of speaking to an ego-based manifestation, not a soul-based. That's like, you're not going to get what it is that you want because it's actually a selfish desire that doesn't serve you. It doesn't. It's not really authorized by the universal consciousness, because it has to be something that eventually is good for all and doesn't violate the free will of any. So you keep on feeding back this process of, okay, I've chosen, this is what I want, I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. Or maybe maybe you come from a poor family. I'm the first millionaire in my family. I'm the first college graduate in my family. Whatever. A dream that you have. What is it? What is that thing that you feel like that, when you were younger, you thought, I'll never have that. Isn't it time that you stop believing that you won't have it and start knowing that you can? Isn't it about time? This is not magic. This is not sorcery. This is sourcery. This is connecting to the divine source, the creative source that created us all, that creates us all, that sustains our life every single moment of every single day. It's about connecting to that source, that power, that life force energy, and stopping blocking all of its blessings. Stop blocking the universe from giving you things. Do you realize that that's why we don't have things? Is because we don't have the patience to keep our vibration when things don't appear a certain way. So, what do we do? What in the world do we do? I've chosen the thing. I had the dream. This is what I want, and I know I can have it because there are no limits. And the fact that I have this desire means that I can have it, that I can do it, that I can achieve it, that I can be that. The fact that I desire it means that the universe will meet me there if I'm willing to put in the effort. So let's talk about effort for a second. Putting effort toward your goals. I'm going to get closer to the camera because I want to be super emphatic about this, because my guides were super emphatic with me about this multiple times. Putting effort toward your goals is a fruitless exercise. Do you understand that? I didn't understand that at all at first. Putting effort toward your goals is a waste of your time and energy. If you are going to put forth effort, instead, put forth effort into removing the blockages to source energy. Because if you're experiencing lack anywhere in your life, it's because there is something that you are not currently seeing. There may be something that you are refusing to see. You must take responsibility that you have created whatever situation you find yourself in now. At some level, you were complicit in it. I know that's a bitter pill to swallow. It sure was for me. I got real depressed about it for about several months. Like, I was very down in the dumps about it, thinking like, man, what did I do, Once I started learning about karma and all that stuff, I was like, what did I do to deserve, all this pain? Well, I inadvertently manifested all that pain because what were my core beliefs at that time? Before I awakened, my core beliefs were like, I don't deserve, I can't have, I can't be, everything is locked in to this reality and I'm just like a cog in this wheel. I don't really have free will. There's no point to this existence. I'm just existing here. I've just got to do my time, my sentence, so I can finally leave this planet. Like, that was kind of my core belief system before. And is there any wonder why I was miserable? You get whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that your soul truly resonates with, that's what you will experience. So if you find something that you truly want, put all the time you can toward feeling the feeling of being that, of having that, of doing that. Just visualize it. Close your eyes and just think about what your life would look like. What would the picture look like? Paint that picture, because what you're doing is you're actually creating that parallel timeline, okay? By putting thought energy toward it, you are actually painting it. You're filling in the details. And once you've filled in the necessary details, you can choose to go to that timeline. Here's the deal. Just because you have become it in the higher dimensions, you must wait. It's not just like this arbitrary date where everything comes. Like I said, it filters in slowly. So how you keep the momentum and how you build momentum is you learn to discern energy. So you can feel yourself shifting closer and closer and closer to that thing. You can feel yourself resonating more with it. And the feeling is a believing is seeing. And then you have the feeling, seeing is believing. So, believing is seeing. I've chosen the thing. I feel it now. Oh man, I feel it. That bolsters my confidence. And then, so that I see and I believe. And because I believe, I see. And the more that I believe, the more I see. And the more I see, the more I believe. And at some point, you're like, well, there's nothing to believe. I just know. Because what's the big word in the middle of believe? L-I-E. Lie. Belief indicates that there is still some part of you that is unsure. There's still some part of you that is not completely abundant. There's still some part of you that doesn't actually know that that is so. But when you feel it in your soul, when you feel it in your heart, it just kind of starts to become this positive feedback loop, you see. And the more that you know, and the more you flex that knowing muscle, the easier it becomes to have the thing. You will stay on the course. You will. There's no way anybody will deter you off of it. But if you're wishy-washy, the actual Bible passage I was thinking of is the part that talks about he that wavers in his faith cannot receive anything from God. So, I mean, to look at that from a less religious construct, it's if you are wavering in your frequency, you are not staying in resonance with the thing that you desire. You're wavering. This is the thing, and you're wavering. It's just going to take longer. You may never get it. Right next to me is one of my prized possessions. It's a mini Moog synthesizer made by Moog. It was like one of the first synthesizers. And it's a prized possession of mine, and I wanted one with all my might since I was 11 years old, and I didn't get one until I was, 32? 33. Yeah. So, because there was a part of me that thought I would never have one. There was just, I had all of these things blocking me. I didn't know. All those years, I didn't know. And so this is why we're teaching these things now. Because it's time for us to start using these tools. This is not magic, like I said. These are tools that we are using to help to heal this planet and heal all the people on this planet, and to kick out the purveyors of lack. So you may be asking, and this was one of my big questions about law of attraction and all that stuff. So okay, so we've established that, like, once you have chosen a thing, you resonate with it, and in the higher dimensions you are it. You are one with it. And you have to wait and see all the little evidences that stack up through the third dimension as it slowly fades in, as these new energies appear, these new opportunities appear. Leave that up to the universe, how it appears. If you go trying to dictate specifically how it's going to appear, that's ego manifestation. That is effort. Stop. Don't do that. Let the universe do its job, and you do your job, which is to hold that resonance, hold that frequency, stay focused on it, know that you have it. But you may be asking, well, know that I have it, that's crazy, because I don't see anything. I'm still in debt. I'm still in this bad situation, whatever. I'm still in this job that I hate, whatever your situation is that you're trying to change. Well, yeah. Okay. Understand that whenever let's talk a little bit more about parallel realities and jumping timelines. When you have a decision to make, do I go here or do I go there? When you put thought energy toward projecting the outcomes of situation A or situation B, when you have kind of this choice to make, I'm keeping this real simple. When you put thought energy toward either one of those choices, you have actually created that parallel timeline. But if you decide that you didn't want choice A and you decided that choice B was more suited to you, choice A will continue, that simulation that is parallel to this one will continue to run as if you had made that choice. But because you didn't make that choice, eventually that momentum, all that thought momentum that went into examining that choice will eventually dissipate. It will slow and stop. That parallel simulation is effectively dead. That energy dissipates because, I mean, there's nothing wasted in the universe. Understand that your consciousness is currently limited to only one of these at a time, right? So you have chosen a different one, but the residue of your current one still lingers through the time buffer. That's part of the action of the time buffer. That momentum, which may be a great deal of momentum, has to eventually slow. It's like a locomotive. The engine has cut off. It's not running anymore. There's no more steam, but it has so much inertia. It has so much momentum that it will continue on its natural path, unless something stops it. But I mean, it doesn't fit the analogy. But what I'm saying is that there is momentum behind your current reality. It doesn't instantaneously change. But understand that you've already shifted away from it. Just because you see it right now, just because things still appear bleak, don't worry. That's just an illusion. That's just the residue of your previous experience, your previous choice. You have to wait for that to sort of like spin out. Now, what do you do while you wait? You certainly don't put forth effort. You follow your guides and you do the things whatever you have to do to keep yourself on that resonance. If it's making a vision board, like if you just need something to help you keep it in your mind. Like currently I've got this piece of automatic writing that I did the other night that I haven't done that in years, and boy, it was flowing, and I'm not allowed to really share what they said, but I mean, it's the same, it's my guides, it's obvious, it's like they're my cosmic parents or something. They're just like, that's the ones that direct me. You have ones that direct you, you get to know them, get in touch with them, and watch your life improve. This is going on for an awfully long time, and I guess there's probably more that I could say, and I'm sorry if I rambled. Like I said, this is kind of a collection of random thoughts about all of this, but this is a thing that is slowly being distilled down into something really concise and really powerful, and these are tools that all of us can use. And I hope these have helped you, and I hope these ideas maybe have sparked some new thought at least. So good luck with everything. You're going to do it. There is no way you can lose. Just keep on keeping on. And remember, don't put forth effort towards your goals. You will naturally flow to your goals if you just put your effort toward removing the blockages that are keeping you from getting there. The river of time will automatically take you to that which you desire, that which you have selected. All you have to do is remove the blockages, remove the obstacles. The only thing stopping you is you. Namaste.